Hello, I'm Danny from DJI High Access Services. Today I'm in Sherwood to investigate a leak on the chimney that you can see behind me. The problem seems to be on the first floor ceiling around the chimney breast, which leads me to suspect that the chimney has got some kind of problem with the flashing. If the problem was on the ground floor on the chimney breast, you would think that the water was getting inside the flue somehow and running down to cause the damp. This would likely be caused by water getting in through open chimney pots, concrete flaunching on top of the chimney, or even damage to the brickwork pointing. But because the problem is on the ceiling and on the first floor, I think water is likely to be getting in through the flashing somehow, running down the brickwork and causing a stain on the ceiling. So I'm just about to go up and have a look to see if I can get to the bottom of this problem. And the first thing we can notice is that these pots have been capped off, so no rainwater is going to get down there and make the chimney flues damp. And the concrete flaunching on top of this chimney is in good condition. The concrete extends right to the edge of the brickwork. That's going to help protect this brickwork from any water making its way inside the pointing or the bricks, which will damage it. Moving down, we can see that the pointing on the chimney is not brilliant. There is some holes in places, one there for instance, but the majority of the pointing is good, and this isn't going to be causing the damp staining on the bedroom ceiling. I suspected the flashing was going to be a problem, and we can see that this stepped left flashing is okay. It's where it's supposed to be. But we can see that the joints above the lead are good. There's a little tear in the flashing there, and a tear in the flashing there as well. But other than that, the stepped flashing is okay. But when we look below the stepped flashing, we can see what are called the soakers, and we can see lots of holes in these soakers, and that is the cause of the damp stain on the bedroom ceiling. What I'm going to do now is strip back the tiles next to these soakers so we can take a better look at them. We can take them out and replace them. Started stripping back the tiles, but I thought this would be a good place to show you how these soakers work. As water runs down the brickwork and it goes over the top of the flashing, the soaker, which is this part here, is then tucked underneath the flashing, like this one here with a big hole in, tucked underneath the flashing, but it laps on top of the tile below. So the water rolls down there and it rolls onto the soaker, and it then rolls down, and it should then roll onto the soaker that's underneath that one. So if I remove this here, I can lift this up, and there's another soaker, and that continues all the way down the chimney until it gets to the end here, which is lead flashing, and it'll end up running down into that valley there. But as we can see, the condition of these soakers are rotten. They're made of tin, and they've just corroded away over the years, and now any water running down the chimney onto the flashing is going to find its way inside the property through these large holes here. So I'm going to continue stripping these tiles off. I'm going to remove all of these soakers, and then I'm going to replace them with new soakers. Starting from behind the chimney, I worked my way down and stripped all the tiles back. It's always easier to do it this way because of the way that the tiles are lapped on top of each other. So when you remove a tile that's on top of another tile, it then exposes the tile below it, and they just lift off nice and easy. I've removed all the soakers, and now I'm going to take them back to the ground so that I can use them as a template to cut new soakers using some lead that I've brought with me. Once I've done that, I'll come back up and show you how to reinstate the soakers. At the minute I'm just cutting some new soakers. I have used new lead for the soakers, and this is my profile piece, which I took from this old soaker, made it the same size. The way to cut lead, if you want a nice straight joint, just I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding my phone in the other hand. Mark the lead so that you get a nice straight parallel cut, and then using a straight edge get across, and then you can score your knife along the straight edge and score it maybe 2 or 3 times. I'll just put you down and I'll show you that. So now you can see there's a nice score mark in the lead, and then using one hand, which is never easy, you can just bend that it snaps off and you've got a nice straight joint. So here we have a pile of new soakers, and it's going to be much easier for me to put a bend on these soakers while I'm on the ground. So what I'm going to do that is I'll position my straight edge here against the curb, slide them out the way, take one of them soakers, and I'll have a look at this soaker here, and I know, looking at that I need roughly that much bending over, and then I can just simply push it over like that. All very difficult when only using one hand, but right, I've got my new soakers back on the roof. I'm wearing gloves because I'm now working with lead, so I'm going to make a start and reinstate these soakers, and I'll show you what I do as I go along. I've started from the bottom and I've worked my way up the chimney to this point here, and I thought I would take this opportunity just to show you what I'm doing. So I've got my lead soaker, and then it's got a bend in it like so. I'm going to lap it up underneath the step lead flashing there and push it tight to the wall. So that's now in position, that's nicely tight to the wall, and it's lapped up over the top of the tile here. And then, just to prevent gravity from causing this to slide down the roof in the future, lapped it just above the end of the next tile, and using the bottom of my hammer I'm just going to bend that lead over the tile, and that's going to hold it in position. Then I shall take a tile, slot it back in there, and then I need one more tile like this, and this goes over the top of that, hiding the soaker, but as we know, that's now got plenty of cover, like so. And then once I've finished filming, I'm just going to give this a bit of a tap with my hammer so that it sits nice and flush. And now I'm finished. So just to recap on what I've done, I stripped off the tiles next to the chimney, removed all the old tin soakers, I've cut some new lead soakers using the old tin soakers as a template, and then I've reinstated the tiles while lapping the soakers on top of the tiles at the same time, and the soakers have been lapped up underneath the step lead flashing. That will make this chimney watertight. That will prevent any more staining on the ceiling, around the chimney breast, in the bedroom of this property. This is what the finished job looks like. Ideally, perhaps in the not too distant future, this stepped lead flashing will be replaced because there are some cracks in the lead. However, the soakers are lapped up underneath these cracks, so they are covered. It's watertight. My customer's main objective was to prevent the leaking into the bedroom and the staining on the ceiling, and by replacing the tin soakers that were corroded and damaged, we have made this chimney watertight, so no more staining on the ceiling. There we have it, back on the ground, all packed away, ready to go to the next job. Hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative. Thanks for watching.